Alright. Hello, hello, and welcome back to Factorio Void Block. In the last episode, we flew here to Vulcanus on the Endurance, which I was kind of surprised made it to flight. We'll be upgrading the ship later, but for now it'll work just fine. It's currently in orbit around Vis, probably resupplying on some of its stuff. We'll probably bring it over here later. But here on Vulcanus, we're working on getting ourselves established. We need to work on getting some more stuff up for the nuclear reactor we have here, so that we can get our nuclear reactor built up, so that we can have power taken care of. We probably could do it with solar power or using the sulfur recipe you're supposed to use for steam power, but I would rather just get a nuclear power plant down and utilize that. We do have the stuff that's being made to basically make our foundries, so we can make foundries here, and foundries, turbo stuff, and a couple of other things are going to be our goal while we're here, in order to get ourselves settled in for the long haul of this planet, and so that it can start being utilized. Each planet is going to be basically just set up to make what they make, their specific designs, and then on top of that we're going to work on getting set up with basically what we need to get moving forward. Right now we're just trying to get this built and getting as many foundries as we can get built, so that we can get our power supply up and running. We are also going to need to work on getting the nuclear fuel, which is what we're going to be working on right now. I'm actually going to remove this and put down the heavy foundations, so that we can expand the platform here, so we can start working towards our Coverax enrichment process to have the nuclear fuel we need to run the reactor once it's up and running. Oh. Requester chests, supply chests. Do I not have any? No, I do. Oh, the pollution low report has been turned off. So we're going to turn that on. Let this all get settled in real quick. Oh wait, no, that doesn't go there. That goes there. And just because we're going to need it. There. Now this one can be the bright green rocks. And this one can be our dark green rocks. It's that into there, that into there, and that to there. And then place down a substation. Probably don't need a substation for that, but I might as well use a substation since we have the extra substations. And then we can turn on Coverax enrichment. As far as the stream today goes, this is going to be one of the shorter ones. I have some stuff I need to take care of today, so I won't be able to stream for very long. But I am hoping to get us a bit farther in our setup here on Vulcanus. Basically more work towards getting us established as much as we can on Vulcanus, so we don't have to worry about, what am I doing? Setting this up like normal requesters, and it's not a normal system. Because I'm thinking about setting one of those up because I need a bot model to be able to build inserters and stuff like that. So this one's going to be nuclear fuel. This one's going to be the depleted uranium. I kind of wish we had the enriched uranium, but I understand why that's not a thing. We can make this stuff though. I don't know if we've used the purple Voidium 666, but this is basically, it'll work with our production of nuclear fuel in a different route. But we're gonna go ahead and turn this on to 6 speed real quick. Do we have any? We had some. I don't know if I have any more. Apparently not. Did I make just enough of them, or? I thought we had more of the exalted efficiency runes. We'll probably request some more from the planet. It does have some on it. You can always add a few more to it. Oh, nope, it's already got 50 requests, so if it doesn't have it, it just doesn't have any. Let's see. It's got logistic bots, it's got foundation. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and send this across. Send this across the void of space. So far, we haven't run into any issues with the whole not having the game crash because of the time change mod. Eventually, we will start running into that issue, and we won't be able to use the time change mod, but once we get to that, hopefully we'll be far enough along that it won't matter. Then down the construction bots. Gonna be fine. What I do want to do, actually, these should do if it's just fine to protect the ship. I do need to send it back though, because it cannot stay in orbit, because after a while these are going to start coming in from angles and the back of the ship is not defended at all. So we're going to send it back to Navis to wait in Navis orbit. I'd like to get another, oh, got the foundry to build. We'll be using this stuff eventually to build up our supplies, but for now we're just slowly building up to what we need. I'd like to build another centrifuge, but obviously those are expensive. Maybe I'll have it bring me a centrifuge from Navis. Does it have a centrifuge in it? I thought it would. No, it doesn't look like it. It's requesting 5 centrifuges, so hopefully it brings the centrifuge back with it. Because I can't do anything with this one, but if we turn it to this one, I can now grab out this Voidium, and it will utilize the Voidium and the uranium-238 in order to make uranium-235 and some void shards. One thing I do want to turn off real quick is I don't want these requesting any of the uranium, so that we can build up a supply in a supply for the supplies. We need a bunch more of our void works, which we currently have an exalted void works. Okay, so these just need to be upgraded to exalteds. This is one reason why this is built to be sufficient on its own, so that I don't have to worry about the supplies. I don't need to worry about water, I don't need to worry about much of anything. Once this gets built, it'll be a self-sufficient reactor setup, as long as we also have a Covarex enrichment area nearby. And then let's go ahead and grab these real quick. Just to kill the power supply. I do remember that I don't need all of these in here. Actually, now that I'm looking at this, these only need one each. I'll take those away from me. I'm trying to remember how I put it. I think there's a way you can just choose to only put one in, but I can't remember what the hotkeys are for it. I'm trying to remember right now. Nope, it's not that one. Nope, not that one. It'd just be easier to do this. This will hopefully help with our power supply right now. I could have it set up a bit easier if I was inclined to make this easy on myself, but I'm not. Alright, the other thing we should do right now is we should grab this. I've been thinking about getting the new I saw a new version of the squeak through mod, and I've been tempted to use that. Since I don't like it that I can't get through solar panels very easily. I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to set this up, but I think it's going to just have to go right here for now. What I want to do here is creating iron from lava, and then having this create steel right now. Where is my... I need iron plates. Are we making iron anywhere? I don't think so. Is steel. But it does need to be iron. We have enough steel, we just need iron. So this will be iron plates instead. Then I need some iron plates to do this, so you will make us iron plates. Kind of weird that this offshore pump is made from iron plates, and it can transport not only the extremely hot magma, but it can also we'll also see it transporting super cold materials and basically almost any kind of material later on, at least liquids. Then over to the lava, we will put any of the stone that we produce, so that now we have as much iron as we need. Alright, we're going to do some of this real quick. That'll get our uranium up and running, so now we can get our fuel sources going for our nuclear reactor, which is still being built, but all we need is some more turbines and some more heat pipes, it looks like. Actually, oh, it's already running, even though it's not supposed to be. That's all right. It'll help us get our fuel source up and running, and it'll help for a while. What do you have for me? We have foundations, we have heat pipes. I don't have nuclear turbines, which we need, but that's fine. Let's just head back to Vulcanites real quick. Up the heat pipes. Rub off the foundation. Drop off maybe some more of these. I think we had a request for those. I think. And let's go ahead and drop off some pipes just so that we have them. We'll drop off some more of our roboports, and we'll go ahead and drop off some more blue stuff because we're going to be getting into settling our material soon. Then you can go ahead and head back to Navis. Not good. That's going to negatively affect our fuel production, but it should be fine and should make it back to Navis just fine. Well, at least hope. Then once it gets back to Navis, it can sit in Navis orbit and repair itself. There we go. If they run out of fuel, they'll end up just drifting. So it's not too bad of a situation for them to run out of fuel and just drift. It's a little bit of a pain, but it happens. Hopefully our next design will be better. Looks like we got enough iron built up. This is one reason why the foundries are amazing for making supplies. You could also have it making steel. Which will make us more foundries, which will make things easier. The next thing we should be working on making here on the planet. Supply chest. Put stuff into there, so now we're getting our stone. And then what I can do is this one. This one, and this one. We'll do requester chests and supply chests. Like I said, this week's is going to be a little bit of a short one. I probably could have just recorded it and uploaded it, but this is easier. And I want to give people a chance to see this live so that you can see my thought process, ask questions, stuff like that. I've seen that people like these a lot better. I'm guessing it's because of the length and because of the fact that it's easier to watch it in the long run. Not to mention the fact that it's probably better for Hewitt. So the landfill's getting used up somewhere, because it's getting pulled somewhere. Oh, is it bringing it to me? Yeah, it is. We're going to set that to 0. Just so we can have the landfill being made into the foundation, because that's what we're going to need on this planet. Alright, didn't we get a bunch of construction bots from another one of these? I never actually requested this construction bots, I guess. What we will do is I'll go ahead and I'll place down a few construction bots here, just so that they can work as they see fit. I can also build up the 4 tanks, so now the water is being made by all of these. I don't know if I've explained how the nuclear reactor works, but basically using void fluids we create water, which is then boiled by the nuclear reactors, and the steam is put into the turbines. I have been suggested that I should have connected all the steam together, which I plan on doing for the next time I design this reactor. We also will most likely be redesigning the reactor eventually for purposes of that later, but for now, this is what we're going to be running with. I do want to sit down and create better systems for all of this as we go, but that's only as soon as we get this place settled. For nuclear turbines, we're just missing the copper now, which I can go ahead and start working towards making. Make another one of these amazing pumps. Pump up more of this molten rock. This one, though, will be making copper instead of making iron. We can go ahead and make the copper plates. Requester chest. Provider chest. Now we can go ahead and start making the turbines. A few more turbines and we'll have everything we need for this planet, and we'll be able to start moving towards this needs to be switched back over to iron plates. And that completes our nuclear reactor setup. Now power on Vulcanus will be completely fine for the foreseeable future. Means I can start taking down the solar panels, as we will not need them. At least not for a while. We are going to be needing to worry about having enough fuel for the nuclear reactor, obviously. But again, that won't be super hard to maintain, as this reactor does not need a ton of fuel to operate, it just needs a little bit. And we already have a backlog of good fuel, so the Covax enrichment process will keep us running. And as soon as I can build a second centrifuge, or bring one over from Navis, we will have what we need for the we'll have what we need to keep it running for the foreseeable future without us even thinking about it. The next thing I actually want to build is a storage warehouse, so that we can start working on being able to get the logistics network a little bit more stabilized here, so that we don't have to worry about it as much. Which I'm going to need a couple more of these, actually. Thanks to the trick I learned with blueprints recently, I can just copy this, go into here, and zero out all of these blueprints, all of these crafting recipes. Alright, for this one I would like to make concrete. And then the other things we need for a centrifuge are gears, which we can make from iron, and red circuits. Which if I make these, go ahead and copy the reds, we can go ahead and just get a bunch of these void circuits and then use those to make the red circuits we need. And now, get our storage warehouse. Oh, I didn't realize that those were still crafting. And turn this one off, turn these off, and turn this one off. Now we can get everything out of our inventory that we don't need, and put it into that warehouse. So that's the basics of Fulgora. I mean, Vulcanus, not Fulgora. I've got Fulgora on the mind recently because I've been playing a lot of Factorio using Fulgora tech. Because I think Fulgora tech is probably some of the coolest tech there is in this new Factorio now. Mostly because of the modules and the quality modules. I think quality is a very cool aspect that they brought over. But we now have copper and iron being produced at relatively decent amounts. I am going to grab all of the steel out of here real quick so that it can be sent over to the storage warehouse. And then as far as the amounts there go, we can go ahead and start working on getting some blue circuits, since we are going to start needing to worry about building a rocket silo to eventually get off of Vulcanus and head back to Navis or off to the other planets. Which I don't plan on leaving anytime soon. Obviously going from Vulcanus to Fulgora, from Vulcanus, leaving Vulcanus now would be a terrible idea. All we have is the foundation, the foundries. We don't have anything else. One of the reasons I might consider heading back is just because the fact that now we have this set up, we'll have infinite foundation. We just have to let it have time to build up. But I don't feel like heading back to Navis yet, just to let it build up. It's easier to let it build up here. And one option we have, if we want to continue working on Navis, is I can just pop over to Navis using the map and make some changes here using that. Which I could always set up the other sciences. I could always start working on sending the foundation, the forges back to Vulcanus. Back to Navis to improve our work. But as of right now, that's not my plan. For now, we're going to continue working with Vulcanus to get it a little bit more settled. We're going to make foundries that will prioritize producing a single resource. so that all of the single resources we can get from Vulcanus, um, that are produced by Vulcanus, can be made on Vulcanus easily. I'm gonna go ahead and up this to the max so that we can have as much saved up as possible. Since it's easier to run with a lot of foundation than it is to run with a small amount of foundation. Now, what I'm thinking of doing, and we're going to be using this as for my planning area, is if I set this here, and I say, you could make lava, or you can make iron from lava, and then I say make some pipe, and then we decrease this down. Then we tear up the foundation. Now I can do one of these. Go ahead and just put that on the thing so that it continues to keep it in my inventory. It will now bring us the lava into here that we need. Then basically what I can do, copy the tiles. Yeah. Does not work the way I wanted it to. That's okay. What I can do is I can go ahead and remove all of these. I do know I'm cutting myself off from going back to the north, at least through this route, but that's alright. And then this one will be for plates. Which it takes, this produces 93 a second, creates needs 25, so it'll be able to provide for 3 of these. Then put a requester here, place that there, you, and you. As a provider chest, it's there. And now the iron will be made as much as we need relatively easily. And then, of course, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have it drop it directly into the lava. Some stone will be kept, but most stone will just be destroyed and put into the lava because I don't need a super high amounts of lava. Super high amounts of stone. But it does look like we are needing some stone for this. So I will go ahead and keep this stone for the process. Eventually we will move to belt systems once we get the turbo belt set up, but right now everything is going to be used by bullet until we can get to turbo belts. We might even go to train eventually to make train systems running all over Vulcanus eventually. Alright, so the next one we do is we set up another iron system. This one will make us gears. Gears would probably be a good idea. This is 40 each, which means this can provide for 2 of these easily. We are going to be having a little bit of lava not being used, but that's fine by me. And with this one, we can easily just have these being put into the same passive provider chest instead of having them go onto belts like the other one. These these down, and then put one of these down. And then, of course, another provider Western chest setup. In and out. And then we also need another one of these. And now we have gears. Which we can go ahead and tear apart this process because this doesn't need to be set up anymore. But this is basically the idea of how we're going to be doing our setup for the foreseeable future of each thing. So the next one build 3 of these. I don't think it's going to need 3 because we're going to do steel next, which is 37, which it's a little too much, but it should have enough every once in a while, so we're just going to go ahead and go with it. Oh yeah, we also need pipes. I almost forgot pipes were also a thing that can be casted in the foundries. So we'll be doing the pipe setups eventually. And then as far as the steel setup goes, we'll do a similar setup to the other one. That is that. Actually, I have more of these inserters. Oops, not mean to do that. I actually have more of these, and it'll be better to have these for their outputting capability. But that now takes care of steel plate, iron plates, gears, and steel. Now the one that I want to look at next is underground pipes, which takes normal pipes and 50 molten metal, while this takes 10 molten metal. So I think I might have an idea of how we'll set this one up. First thing we're going to look at, if I place this here, then go 1, 2, and 3, add a trench of lava here. Reminds me for some reason of farming when you would build trenches for agricultural water to have water be able to be based for farming. So this one will be pipes. This one will be pipes. This one will be undergrounds. More pipe. Now, why does the music for this planet remind me of Mordor? Makes sense, but still, it's kind of an odd decision. And of course, we do an underground, not an underground, a substation. And then insert export for the stone and for the calcite, which we're probably gonna have to increase the amount of calcite we're producing. But we'll worry about that later. What we need to worry about soon is our inserter count. Once we get the basic resources, enough basic resources, we will be redesigning the planet eventually. I'll probably be going off to Fulgora and Gleba before I do that. Maybe even Aquila. Haven't decided yet. Right now, all I want is to get the basic resources set up on this planet so I can start working towards getting the basics of this planet made so that we can then head back to Navis or head off to Fulgora, depending on my decisions once we finish with this planet, but we're barely scratched the surface of getting this planet settled. We still need to get the science at a minimum. We still need to set up automation of foundries a little bit better, and we still need to get a couple of other things settled in. Shoot the rest of these solar panels off so that I can then eventually send them back up to the spaceship, which we're going to need to build our rocket launcher to get us off this planet as soon as we are ready to leave, that is, which is not yet. The next thing that we'll be looking at creating, let's take a look and see what is actually going to be the next thing, because I'm not really sure myself. Could do copper or low density structures. That's a lot of copper. That right there explains why low density structures go from makes it where you start consuming a lot more iron. But for now, I think we'll look into figuring out what it's going to take for us to get our science set up. Wants me to craft a miner. That's annoying since we can't even use miners in this world, but that's fine. To craft the miner, we need molten iron, quite a bit of it. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and set up another thing here. And we probably should build a second one now that I think about it. Definitely going to need the iron. This one will be for the this. Requester chest there, requester chest there, and then supply chests there and there. Probably should get a few more inserters up and running. Probably need to build a system to make my inserters, but we'll worry about that later. Requests, 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 and then substation. We'll put a substation down there just so we have more coverage. Get another bot network down to cover our bot network. And then 2 of these to get the lava from the trench. Gives us our iron. It also needs electric engine units, a pain. Red circuits, also a pain. And electric miners. Probably not as much of a pain as I'm expecting them to be. Electric miners are just made in a normal crafter. We'll go ahead and build one up here, just to do our usual bot requesting crafting. Eventually I do want to move away from bots, maybe even move to trains eventually once we get as far down as I want to get. But for now, is a setup that should work just fine. And then we only need probably 2 stacks at the most. Probably do not even need that much. We're still missing our electric engine units and our advanced circuits. which are a pain. For the electric engine units, I'm thinking we'll just go with probably build. Go up here to the Covarex enrichment, or not Covarex enrichment, the coreless fluid, and we'll use coreless fluid to create engine units. Then we'll come down here. What I get is a byproduct from making lubricant, if I make lubricant from nothing. Solid fuel, carbon, and void shards. Want that? Kinda don't want to keep using up this coreless fluid because I'm noticing we're using up a ton of the coreless fluid. When it comes down to it, I really only need to make the one engine, the one crafter, correct? So I really don't need to be building this to be a permanent setup. Because I don't need these because I'm not going to use them unless they're used in its science, which I'm pretty sure they're not. It's just a gateway technology. Put these in here. What does it take to make a electric engine unit? Actually have a way we can do this and make a few of these without too much work. Because basically anything that comes out as a byproduct can be thrown into the lava on the worst case scenario. Throw these into there. How many do you need? 10 of them. 2. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright. And then, like I said, we can just tear this all apart because we don't actually need to set this up. We don't need a lot of those. We just needed to get the one so that it unlocked the gateway tech. Next, it wants us to create tungsten plates, which I think we're already making tungsten plates. Remember correctly, we're making tungsten plates up here from the void. Nope, we're just making tungsten carbide? Yes. So, in order to make tungsten plates, which I'm pretty sure are made in this, it needs tungsten ore and molten iron. Which I think gears and plates together are making more iron than they need. We actually probably have a ton more iron than we need on all of them, just because of the fact that it's not always needed. What I will do is I will go ahead and do this. Just so we can get this taken care of for now, so I don't have to worry about it in the long run. Although I don't know if we have any tungsten ore. We do have tungsten ore in the system. Which gives us our metallurgic science unlock. Which we get our asteroid reprocessing, which will be very important for late game. Coal liquefaction, which isn't a huge deal, but we will be using it late game. We will be using it later on. Speed modules, very useful later in the game. And then of course our turbo belts, which are part of what we are here on Vulcanus to unlock, because we need those for Fulgora. So we'll be moving over to that soon. It does seem like our tungsten ore is in slow process, which is probably because we only had a little bit from when we were making the tungsten carbide from basic material. But we can easily fix that by just getting tungsten ore from the system. Which now creates tungsten ore, which will then be sent over to here to be used for its material. Now we have tungsten plates being made at a relatively quick rate. Right. For our metallurgic science, we need 200 molten copper, 2 tungsten plates, and 2 tungsten carbide. The only thing we need to set up for that is our molten copper. So what I'm thinking is here and here. And then basically what we'll do is we'll tell this, no, you're going to be making molten copper instead. Requester chest, then provider chests. Nope. And then there and there. This one will be putting it into here. Then this one should be here. Nope. There. There we go. Then for now, just as a habit crafting in the background, not needing to worry about it, we'll have the metallurgic science packs being made here while I go and make us our what do you call it? Well, I go make us our rocket creation area, which means we're also going to need more electric engines. The biggest issue I have with electric engines is that they need lubricant. Lubricant is such a pain to get when you're as lazy as I am. Which I am not afraid to admit that that's one of my big issues with Factorio is it's a game that I really enjoy playing, but my laziness sometimes has an issue with dealing with. But it's also one of the reasons why I like Factorio, because as my laziness is part of the game, I have to, it motivates me to build better systems so I don't have to work as hard. Now we're getting our electric engines, because we're going to need 200 of them for the rocket silo. Very true. I do agree that void block is very useful for when you are lazy, because it makes it to where you don't have to move your ore patches around as much. That was the reason why I liked it. I used to play with the creative mode chest, and I would basically restrict myself to saying I could only use the creative mode chest to create raw material. I couldn't use it to create everything. So then I would create iron ore, copper ore from nothing, and then make everything. So your mod just basically made it to where I was able to run the game without having to worry about I didn't have to worry about having to restrict myself. Your mod restricted me enough. There are other mods that have tried it, but I think your mod is one of the ones that have done it the best, in my opinion. I was wondering why that wasn't working. Oh, I absolutely love Voidcraft. I still haven't tried out updating it yet because I'm too afraid it'll break the series. It might not, though. We might try that. Actually, yeah, let's try that. A lot of my mods need updated, apparently. So, how do I tell what I'm updating to? Okay, so the version I'm using is 1.419. So if I need to roll back to try and fix it, we can go roll back to 1.4.19. Let's see. Valve should be fine. Ultra Cube isn't being used right now. To-do list. I need to just uninstall to-do list because I'm not using to-do list anymore, and it's not usable enough for me because of the fact that, as far as I could tell, I couldn't get it working. I've had to use other ways to keep track of what I'm doing. Doesn't look like there's anything else that, if it doesn't work, it's going to break too badly. So let's see what happens. Wrong one. Update selected. This shouldn't take too long. I like how I still have Factorio installed. I haven't touched Factorio since I've moved back. And back. Oh wait, no. Confirm. Gonna lose the visuals for a second while the game resets. Hopefully this doesn't break us too badly. Worst comes to worst, I can always use some codes to get us around, or revert the mods back to their original states. Or we could restart the entire series and begin this whole journey over again. Hey, look, it's the Vulcanist background. Continue and see what happens. Alright, let's see. Removed entities, valve gauge input and valve gauge output. Removed recipes, smelt iron plate, smelt copper plate, smelt steel plate. Removed technology, prism melting. Valves overflow views. Okay. Let's see what happens. Okay, now for the real check to see if anything majorly changed. Let's see. Looks like the curry list recipe is the same. Plates are still being crafted. Everything is still being made. Changed. We're currently not using up as much stone, so we're currently have a backlog of stone. Which you could always melt down the stone. Forgot I removed the stone melting because of the fact that I felt like we didn't need it. Let's see. Comes out here. Where can I bring it down is the question. There to there, there to there. You up like so. Alright, you let it in if it's below 20,000, so you will only output stone if it's greater than 21,000. That. This is one reason why building a bot network on Navi East is extremely important. So if you want to change anything on Navis while you're on a different planet, you gotta have this set up. Alright, now you can reconstruct all of this stuff. Give me this. fully set up yet. And again, that might be because we didn't need the full setup of iron. And you will melt down stone. There we go. Still doesn't pull as much stone as we needed to pull, but that's fine. How's Endurance doing on its resupply? At first I thought a huge chunk of the ship was missing because it wasn't symmetrical. Oh, that made me really nervous. Gotta head back to Vulcanus. Not really much on there that we need, but there's a few things on there we could use. Copper. Oh, because I never set up the requester chest. There we go. Now we're getting our metallic science, metallurgic science up and running. Which, if we look at our research, turbo belts is one thing I want to make sure we get nice and early, which needs purple science. And it's the only one that needs purple science. That's kind of annoying. What is this? High inversion voidcraft. Not entirely sure why you would want to do this. I mean, I guess if you have an abundance of them, it's things called the flux cycler. You can throw just about anything into it and get void flux. Wait, really? Flux cyc. Hello, beautiful. The flux cycler is especially designed for fast and efficient inversion voidcraft. Interesting. Not super expensive. I really want to see this now. This one. Should still have some of the void science being done back on Navis. Flux cycler might be exactly what I've been looking for. That might get rid of my abundance of stone brick. Although I think that if I remember correctly, we didn't have very much abundancy of stone brick. Oh, Endurance arrived at Vulcanus. Let's go ahead and get its cargo unloaded. Oops. Need to do that. Oh, too late now. Those, more of those. Send the construction bots. Send some down some efficiency modules, even though we probably don't need them at this point. Now that I have a nuclear setup, we shouldn't have to worry about efficiency modules for a while. And we'll send down some more belts, because eventually I do want to build a belt system on Vulcanus, and Vulcanus is also going to be our belt production area eventually. And then go ahead and send you back to Navis where you're safe. I eventually need to build a setup. I eventually need to upgrade the ship so where it can sit in orbit, so I don't have to worry about sending it back to Navis. There we go. Some more construction bots in the system. Needs more tungsten carbide, which we're gonna have to work on getting. I was looking at this. So the high flux allows me to turn 1 iron plate into 20 flux fluid. Let's check this out for a second. So 20 iron. So one iron plate becomes 20 flux fluid. For iron, it's one iron ore to 20 flux fluid. You could always do this and get an increase on your void flux if get increased void flux if you added more, if you were making them in the foundries, because the foundries give you a bonus raw product. That would make it more worth it. I guess you could always just melt down the excess products that you don't need. More useful for melting stuff down. I might be able to use it for further down the line, bigger bases. For now, void fixation. Extremely possible. It is entirely possible, if of somewhat dubious utility, to infuse substance from the physical world with a void flux. Ooh. Interesting. Interesting, but I don't know how useful it would be. What's this one? Is this not the same process I have right now? Oh, are we getting more ore per prismatic shard? Oh. Darn it, you broke my entire system. Why? I'm glad I looked at that, though. That's a pain in my rear. Spoilage! Ugh. Yeah, it did. You made it make spoilage of all the things. I should just turn these off at this point. I get why you changed it. It makes sense. It's just a pain because now all this processes are all messed up now. I'll just have to fix them. It's not like it's gonna be hard to fix them. Biggest annoyance is gonna be that does iron produce? Yeah, it produces copper now. And it produces void shards. That's going to be a problem. The increased amount of void shards is going to be useful, though. Let's see. The easiest way to fix this for now and get a band-aid on this situation. Going to be here. Will mean that there will be problems down the line, but right now I'm just trying to get a band-aid on the situation so Navi's can continue to operate. I will go back and fix Navi's later. Also, void fixation has requested by people who are into quality, so they could have quality void stuff, which can... Oh! That is a good point. Because you can't have quality liquid. You have to have a solid input. Very good point. And there we go. Now it works to a certain degree. It is going to mean that I'm going to have to deal with the fact that copper and iron and stuff will back up more likely, but it's fine. I do want to stop these real quick. Oh, because the void shards don't have a way to go in yet. Because I don't have a system for void shards yet. Yeah, that's fine. So remove this. It also helps me for now, because now I have a way of getting more void shards, which I can't say that void shards were a problem, but I can say that void shards could have been a problem at some point. Darn it. We don't have a way to use them right now, except for me essentially setting up a system to melt them back down. We'll just have to do this for now, and then be able to have them taken care of like so. Now we can do this. Oh, there goes our stone brick backing up again. Oh, I forgot to put the stone through. Which stone has spoilage? That's a problem. Let's see. Where to put this? I can't snake it through any other way. Oh, I know what I'll do. So, here and here. Wait. Stone. Alright. Again, this won't work great, but it will help. That in. Supply chest. And it's okay. It's not a big deal because at least I noticed it prior to it becoming a problem. It'd have been really bad if I had noticed these being a problem. And if I'm being honest, I could always turn them off. The Coriolis fluid does more than enough supply to keep me running. And as long as that didn't get changed, which it didn't, thank God. As long as that's remaining the same, I shouldn't need to worry too much about it. What I do need to do, though... Oh, wait, no. Oh. That does break this system a little bit. I'll have to redesign this entire system because of that. That or move over to just pure Coriolis fluid, which I might do that also. I have not decided yet. But I may need to move over to pure Coriolis fluid because now I just realized these will never get low unless well, I could always do this. So in here right now has 500, so 250. Copper. Iron. There we go. Now it's set up to where it'll prioritize the void sheds before it uses byproducts. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen the one that it's getting an egg that's just about to hatch. Although I don't know if the eggs will work here because I have enemies turned off and I haven't gotten a biter egg to spoiler oil while I had the game running, so I don't know if it'll actually spawn a biter. And whenever I'm working with biter eggs anyway, biter or pentapod eggs, I always have a ludicrous amount of defenses around me, just in case. So hopefully that's not a problem, but I have seen the fact that the byproduct of pentapod eggs is an egg that is about to hatch, and biter eggs. That was very clever of you. You should be proud of yourself. All right, let's see. How are we looking with our electric engines? We actually have plenty. My system would allow me to have them in my inventory. Alright. We also need blue circuits, more concrete, and steel. Luckily concrete's something I'm making. I'm just gonna make this in a crafter because I don't feel like dealing with this whole... My system keeps trashing everything. Hopefully that's the only surprise I have in store for me for updating in the middle of a playthrough. It'd be fine. Fine, it's fine. Fine, we'll deal with it in the future. Not to mention I'm planning on rebuilding the base anyways. It's been a plan since the beginning. The only way I could come to Vulcanus or go to a different planet without staying on Avis forever trying to perfect it. One of those moments where I wish that we had those electromagnetic plants from Fulgora so that I could use this, so that I could get the bonus output. How many do you need? 200 each. No, game. It's fine. Did I also see that modules were now void craftable? Ooh. They are. Voidcraft productivity? Oh, okay. It's the infusion stuff. High Fulgora void crafting. Oh, that's nice. Did you restrict that to only work on Fulgora, or does that work on all planets? I guess it would work on all planets since I've noticed that most of them do. What do I need to unlock that? Oh, it's just the increased science. And of course, it's getting to Fulgora and unlocking the Fulgoran recipes. There's our biter eggs. Not to mention biter eggs, in quotes, dangerous. Not looking forward to that. Especially if they actually have to deal with biters. I don't like biters. Not saying anything else that's got me thinking there's gonna be too big of a change. This was the only thing that made me really notice that there was gonna be a change. The fact that you needed both of them. I'm trying to think about how you would get high quality. What's a good way of getting high quality prismatic shards? I wish I'd have known about that prior to this point. I should have read the settings. I actually installed a mod for a personal playthrough to do that. uh, I'm considering it because it'd be a lot easier if we could go back to to Navis and just play on Navis with those settings. I like having the different planets, but this restarting from the beginning is kind of a pain. Oh. probably put it up for a poll if I was so inclined. Let's see, mod settings. Something I can change now? Bot start. Base time changer. Wait, I can increase the max game speed even higher. Oh, I'd have to save and reload. That wouldn't be too big of an issue. Void block. Pump jack type, void. Flux stadiers, users, runes. Void ocean. Refertigation. Remove most surface restrictions. Here's my surface restriction in space age, allowing you to build, craft anything on almost anywhere. Has no effect without space age. Void ocean dumping allows inserters to drop unwanted items. Oh, that would have been useful at the beginning of the game. Allows characters to perform simple voidcraft by hand. Ooh, interesting. Only alter navis if this egg is marked planes. Oh, I should have set that one up, because then we could have avoided void block on the other planets. I get some of these. I get a lot of these setups. Oh, so I'd have to save here and then go back and change it in the main menu. I usually don't mess with these settings, so. Yeah. It's tempting. We might do it when we get back to Navis. I want to get back to Navis legitimately because I haven't cheated yet in this round and I don't want to cheat in this run, so. But once we get back to Navis, we might consider switching that over so that we don't have to worry about it anymore. Because it is kind of annoying having to start over from the beginning every single time. Does it make it to where you still have to go to the other planets according to unlock the technology, or does it make it to where the technology just unlocks on Navis? Yep, we're probably going to be doing that. I'm kind of glad I didn't know about that from the beginning, just because of the fact that it was kind of fun to set up the idea and to show people it is possible to to have to go to the other planets, but I'd rather just stay on Navis personally. Not because I don't want to go to Fulgora and the other planets, it's just starting over on Fulgora is kind of an annoyance. Not that it's an annoyance because of the fact that it can't be done. I could always have Navis making everything and sending it to me, but I'm just not that type of person. I'd rather be on Navis where I have everything. We might eventually come to the other planets and set up outposts on the other planets, especially since lava is so abundantly available on this planet and all the other stuff. Blue circuits. Oh yeah, because we'd stop making the void circuits. Oh, I forgot you can melt the spoilage down. I might just melt the spoilage down then. Okay then. Back to making these void circuits so I can make the blue circuits. Didn't I see, was the time change mod and in needs to be on restart or change max speed? D6. Confirm. Nope, nope, back. Oh, I just realized that that'll also help us with the time change mod. The time change mod won't break if we don't go to Fulgora. Fulgora was the only planet that breaks it, and only breaks it once you go there. So as long as we don't have to go there, we'll be fine. We'll keep our time change mod for the entirety of the playthrough, as long as we don't want to go to Fulgora for any reason. So I can only think about the fact of going to Fulgora to get the large amount of oil that it has there. Not a big deal. I forgot I need to be crafting this stuff. Probably should get some productivity modules sent from Navis and bring them here. Alright. Quester chest there. Alright. Now we need blue circuits, low density structures, and rocket fuel, which means we need plastics and a whole bunch of other stuff. That's fine. Won't take it super long to get it. Alright, so you there and you there. Place down a foundry here. You need to switch over to making this copper. Requester. Supplier. Requester. And then supplier. That one. And then 2 of these. Really? I had plastics? What the heck did I have plastic? Must have been a byproduct or something. Now, I need plastic, so make this a lot easier on myself, so plastic isn't something that I need to think too hard about. Supplier. Use filters, blacklist. Plastics. This one can go here. And use this one to say plastics. You're going to be this one. low density structures is now being created and nothing to be worried about. Now, blue circuits is another thing we're going to need. Sad, I'm half tempted to just set up the void craft ship parts. Turn on to 250,000 into speed 250 and just let it run. Realize how slow some of this stuff crafts when you're crafting it by hand and you're crafting it at 256 speed and it's still slow. Blue circles. We're almost free of this planet. Goodbye, Fulgora. As much as I loved being here, I've learned I don't need to be here. Off. Take away. We at least take the science with us. Only 260 science. Shouldn't take us too long to make it back on Navis once we get set up. We'll just leave it here. Oh. Yeah, that'd be a problem if it let me do it and I'd just be floating in the void of space. You get me? Space. And get rid of Vulcanus. We'll still have to build a space platform and all that stuff eventually, because the fact that we eventually have to go to the edge of the planet, or the edge of the solar system, to eventually beat the game, which isn't even the reason why we're going there. We're going there for the Promethean science. I thought we were at full Navis. Home sweet home. Planet. We'll be going back to space for a while. Does it count if you send a... Does anybody know, does it count as if you send a ship to the edge of the atmosphere, or do you have... to the edge of space, or do you have to be in the ship? Alright. Home sweet home. Time to fix all the broken stuff. Our personal network so that we can start getting our stuff back together. Whole setup is going to be a pain in the rear to fix. We might just switch this over to coreless fluid, or what we might do is set it up to where we can have coreless fluid and what do you call it? Coreless fluid and flux fluid together, since we can do the upgraded version once we research it. This one. We can just do void flux and coreless fluid together. I don't know if that was actually cheaper than what this was. I think it was. We'll look at it later. Doing. Oh, they're waiting to charge at the platform. It's one reason why I wish I could build, like, to charge them specifically. Alright, alright. Just get my inventory set up. I need to let them work on my inventory for a second. You guys done yet? I don't need these. We actually no longer need foundation at all, so we can go turn off foundation crafting. Break, break. Break, break. Now it's the process of trying to decide, are we going to reset the entire place, or are we just going to continue on with what we have? Tempting just to build a second base. Darn progression paralysis. There's a part of me that's just like, tear it all down. Tear it all down, start from the beginning. I wonder why we're hurting so hard for red circuits. No plastic. Where's plastic? We're not getting plastic. When did you break? Oh, lordy. Oh, lordy. What broke this? Why are you set up to be? What? What broke the freaking... Right, turn that off. That doesn't connect to it. That's all processed up. Don't know what broke our, sure what broke our, helium gas setup. Problem and a half. Can't even tell where it might have even done that. There must have been like a temporary connection or something. Something I did without noticing it and fixed it without thinking about it. Alright. If I do this... Yes! Wait. Oh! Save game. I noticed. Settings. Mod settings. Void block. Remove most surface restrictions. Yes, please. And we're gonna do void ocean dumping, so we can drop stuff into the void ocean if I don't feel like dealing with it. And we'll keep that on modules. It's fine. You're expecting can't land on a planet because your pod always missed the island. This setting will override the land animation. Always drive you at 0, 0. Oh, interesting. Kinda want to turn on void handcrafting, even though we don't need it. Not this early, not this late. Restart the game. We are getting close to the end of this stream. I plan on doing 2 hours today and then being done because there are other things I need to take care of today and other things that I have to think on. Eventually I want to play through where I actually have like bad guys so I can fight a demolisher. What's the differences? Oh, nothing. It's just mad that the settings are changed. I want the settings to be changed. We can make recyclers. Oh, that's wonderful. Scrap away. My scrap. Alright. I think the first thing we're going to want is this current processing so that we can get our pure creations back up and running. Maybe get the modules eventually. Although I don't know if we'll use this because I plan on just having the modules being crafted so I can play with their quality from the beginning. We have a lot more work to do before we can get to that though. What we will be working on for the rest of today is getting our turbo belt setups and having them being able to automatic endurance. Go back to Vulcanus. Passenger not present. Passenger present. Give me boundaries. Wait for that. No, we're still lacking heavily in our creation of fluid. Where's all of our... Okay, so it's all getting turned into solid fuel. That's why. We'll have a way to deal with that later. Need to get our oil set up a little bit better. I think we're going to be moving over to a train base eventually, so we have better throughputs on all of our stuff. Maybe. How's the nerds doing? Rocket capacity is 5. And this is starting to lose pieces because of that. Where did I lose the pipes from? Alright, head back to Navis. Need purple science for the metallurgic research to get turbo belts, so we're going to be working on that next. Just remember that. This requires not only metallurgic science, but requires purple science as well. So purple science will be the next thing we work on, since that will be something I can think of. This is on its way back to Navis. So we get the foundries here, we're going to create foundries to set up foundry production, and then once we do that, we will then start working towards changing out the foundry setup. You can go ahead and get rid of the void sheds because we don't need those right now. Now, stand here and think. I'm going to make purple science, which is rails, electric furnaces, and productivity modules. Grab. Uh-oh. No. Apparently I left my book in a different game. It's one reason why I wish there were when you put them in here, you could make copies of them. Because I have the blueprints, I just don't have the book. That's such a pain. Yep, it's gone. It's gone. Luckily, we're not too far from having a free copy on us. You set to parameter 1 or parameter 0. Check. And create blueprint. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Make purple science. Why is this set to be... Oh, I know why that's set to productivity. There we go. And this one to here. One to here. And this one to here. There, there, and there. Where is Rose? Alright, first one is rails, productivity modules, electric furnaces. Probably rails, I'm thinking would be the most simple. I think they only take stone, iron, iron sticks, and steel. Yep. If a science pack has quality to it, it makes it basically where the research pack will be worth more in the science. Um, I'm using it on all of the sciences that I create because they makes them worth more. Um, but yeah, any quality science, the higher the quality, the more it's usable. It's actually what I thought everything was going to do with quality. The way quality works was entirely different from what I was expecting, as far as individual components. Um, because like people might say, well, okay, wait a minute, your red science isn't going to work now because once you run out of common quality red science, you're not going to have any common quality for the other sciences, so it's not going to work because they're not going to work together because quality doesn't work together. That doesn't count for science. Science quality works together. So uncommon, um, all different levels of quality science will work with all other different levels of quality science, and they're but the higher level of quality, the more value they have. So their health bar decreases slower, making them worth more. That's why I put quality science in everything. Why I always look to make quality science. Now, you have to have it set up like, now, you kind of want to have it set up like I do, to where it's all getting fed in directly. Yeah, it's not like everything else where, see, like this one has a rare in here, but it will still work with all the others. It'll just decrease at a slower rate. They work fine together. I wish that was how it was with everything. I wish everything didn't affect whether or not you could make a higher quality item. That if I had a legendary quality item and I was making a common item, the legendary quality item would just get slowly used up over time instead of it being, no, it can't be used with other things. Because it's really annoying that it can't be used with other things because that makes it really hard to basically use it for anything. Basically, unless you're working with high quality stuff or recycling stuff, you may as well never touch quality until you get to recyclers. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody eventually makes a mod that eventually does that to where quality just improves how often it can be used, unless you have uncommon across the board, then it makes an uncommon item. Or if you have, like, let's say you have a bunch of uncommons and then a single rare input, the rare input raises the possibility of increasing its quality to rare. One moment, I will be right back. Apparently, I have a visitor. I do apologize for the interruption. I was a bit, um, as a couple of friends of mine were stopping by to talk to me about something, but I informed them I was busy and didn't have time to talk. But back to as I was stating before, um, yeah, quality science is something that it doesn't need to have all the same quality for it to work together. They play nice with each other, and they just decrease how fast their durability drops. I actually think that might be what is the difference. Let's see. So, with common quality blue science, it has 200% use remaining, while this one only has 100% use. So obviously the quality insurance? Is that from a commercial? Is that what I'm thinking here? Wait a minute. Did I cheat the system? Can I force it to make uncommons as long as there's an uncommon in there? Oh, nope. I really thought I found a glitch in the system. But yeah. So, legendary science will be the best because it'll be most valuable, but you can always play it with high quality, any quality improvements to me is better because it's basically like getting more science for your buck. Because, like, uncommon, as we saw, was doubled. So it's like getting 2 blue science instead of getting only 1. But we are at 2 minutes remaining for the stream today. Like I said, I am currently going to be busy later on today as I need to take care of a few things. But we will continue to work towards this. So rails is another three craft. Eventually, I need to figure out where my books went. And then 1, 2, 3, and 4. Make me rails. This one goes here. And then this one is steel. Alright, so this needs, what was it, steel? Oh, steel, stone, and actually this could be the stone line. Forgot it was steel, stone, and iron. For some reason, an iron sticks. I thought it was something else that you needed to craft. Steel, stone. Here, we can throw this down real quick. Darn, I wish I could give myself a legendary quality brain so I could figure this out a little bit better, because I know I'm not using the best qualities or the best designs here. But then again, I am just doing this to get it up and running. Although technically, if I wanted to do that, I could easily just set it up with a bot mall. Iron. Or set up with a train system. A train network would be nice. Then you guys will switch over to iron sticks. Thus, rails was finished. Set up electric furnaces and productivity modules next. As far as the stream goes, we might go for a little bit longer just so I can finish purple science. I'd rather finish purple science before we close out for the day. It's not going to be super hard to get it set up. I do have a way I could do it that won't be great, but it will work for now. Place another one there. Requester chests here and here. There and there. And then this one can be for... And then what I will request in them is red circuits. Which is probably a terrible idea, because it's probably needing... I probably will need more than it's going to be sending, but for now it'll work just fine. Alright, so it needs, what is it, stone, brick, and steel? Stone, brick, and steel. Steel. This won't be stone, brick. Steel. Next one. What I probably should do is set up some of these down so that increase the bot network's length. Here goes the steel. Oh, I appreciate that, I really do. I've been trying to get my channel to grow for a while now, although it's not that big of a deal to me. I more of enjoy making the content and stuff, but I do appreciate the assistance. No, plastic is the issue. All right, we're gonna change the settings for let's change the settings for heavy oil because we don't need this much heavy oil. Although that's not really going to help us because the heavy oil backing up is not exactly going to help us as much as I would like it to. We're having a huge supply issue with petroleum gas issues. Voidcraft to the rescue. And I think if I do this, Aircraft to the rescue. I could technically leave these set up if I change their settings to where they read this and only produce it if it's got less than a certain amount in it. Eventually. There we go, that fixed our plastic issue. And that, well, it fixed our red circuit issue. Although we could still use a bit more red circuit production. Time to upgrade red circuits. Boop. And let's do it again just because we can. Need so many red circuits. I'm also noticing that our copper wires are being consumed pretty quickly. Problem? Probably eventually. Plastics are still being consumed like crazy. I might need to improve plastic production when we do redo the base. Plastic made anywhere else other than in chemical plants? Can we make them in like cryological plants or something? Where is plastic? It is made in cryogenic. It can be made in cryogenic plant, so we might be doing that eventually. But back to work. That gets us our completion of red circuits to be making the furnaces. It's obviously not going to be making it super fast because, well, we are making it by request, so they aren't going to be filling these up very quickly. We actually change this to 1,000. Realizing this one didn't get its additions copied over either. There we go. And now for modules. Which one does it need? It needs the productivity 1 modules, right? Yes. If I remember correctly, productivity 1 modules are a 2-to-1 crafting. Yep. There is a 2-to-1 crafting system. It's literally the only thing that's a 2-to-1 on here. Red science and grenades are a 2-to-1. Question is, should we just go ahead and do it and be lazy and set it up as a requester chest, since it needs red circuits and red circuits and green circuits. Tempting. Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. It'll be easier than trying to set up the circuit build for now. And I don't feel like setting up the another circuit build for a system that we're going to be moving away from not for too long. Well, not too long. And go. Let's say, is it going to bring up? There's all the green circuits that are being brought over. Probably need to go in and do some more bot worker speed and bot carry weight. That would probably improve our system a bit better. Not to mention, once we move away from doing the using the bot network as much as we are. One reason why using the bot network is not a great plan because of the fact that it is slow throughput. It would be much better to do trains or belts. Like I said, once we get done with getting the basics set up, I will be attempting to move away from this and move over to a more better system. Our first level of the productivity, the electromagnetic plants. We're going to need these eventually because we're going to need these for creating circuits because they're a lot better at creating circuits and modules. But we need to unlock the science first. We're going to go ahead and unlock this one. I know I have the researches in the queue. Let's see. Can I show this off actively? Okay, so here's a blue science that is an uncommon blue science. It's in this second lab from the bottom. We will go ahead and throw down a request for elevated rails since we're going to need those. And we'll notice it's being used up, but it's not being used up as quickly as it would be with the other ones. We'll notice that the other sciences are also doing the same thing. So quality just improves how long it can work in a design. I always consider it a good idea to put it into the system because you'll eventually have your quality science will help you get through with things a lot faster. Especially if you're like me, where you like working with bulk stuff and all that. Oh, these don't have quality modules in them. No, they do. That's a lot of quality modules. Now we can actually go ahead and fix that. Do that. Give me back my recycler. My recycler. Yellow, so it's on its way. There it is. Alright. Bye. You. Quester chest. Alright, now the next thing we need to do I have the I do not. This we have them right here. So what we'll do with this. Find a place to put it. We'll work on it later. I was going to set these up to make the higher quality modules from the higher quality stuff, but what we're going to do is we're going to leave that alone for now. We're just going to keep working towards this. Eventually we'll get the electromagnetic plants and those can make them. Speaking of which, welcome to Navi's Foundries. this and those. Stop requesting that, stop requesting that, stop requesting that, stop requesting that. This can still request. Oh wait, no it can't. Because it doesn't need that. Actually, what we will do... Construct. Construct. Deconstruct. 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 Alright. Go ahead and deconstruct these. Chip. Steel. Rare quality. Quality. Alright. Oops. Oh, that's interesting. Apparently the speed, being at that high of speed, messes with my controls. Let me move around. You will make platforms. There we go. Now it will make platforms like granite. Also do. How about... There we go. Now we'll make platforms for us. Go ahead and send the platform back down to space. Down to space. Send all of the blue stuff back down to space. All of these, this. Those, keep those. Set. Now is it waiting because there's... I forgot I only had like one of these set up. Let's change this up a bit. Now, if I go back to endurance. Nice. Bullets, turrets, those round dummies. Not as much at least. Eventually we will change that ship around to do more with the asteroids. Alright, but for now, that should be more than enough. Bringing all this junk back down is this going to probably be useful eventually. Might use them in a recycler or something. Now that we can build recyclers here on the planet. Let's finally be fixing that system up later. Alright. So now we have purple science pod coming through. Which means I can start doing some of these other researches that are going to be useful as well. But let's get set with foundries. So, first thing I'm going to do is I want to make the metallurgic science, which is molten copper, not molten iron. And we'll still do it down here. That's molten copper from molten ore. Or molten copper from ore. Not molten ore from molten ore. Although that would be kind of cool. I not have. Why is provider choices not being made? Let's see what's going on. Did I tear those apart? It's starting to look like it. This is another reason why we would need to do a full redesign of the base. If things that I think I'm crafting that I'm not crafting. Is it up here? Why are you not making anything? Lack of green circuits. Really? How did that happen? That's a problem. That was a problem. We'll figure it out later. But, back to this. Where is our substation? Carbide and tungsten plates, neither of which are being made. I think tungsten plates is made with them. Is tungsten plates made with iron? Yes, it is. Tungsten ore, carbon, and sulfuric acid. Passive providers. Western. yeah, because it's trashing system is automatically taking it and trashing it. Trying to be helpful. You go there. Uncommon. Which isn't going to work because the fact that it's going to constantly it's going to constantly put the other one in first. Oh, let's go back over here actually. No point in doing that while there's so little. Can I put productivity modules in there? Hey then. More stack size. Alright. Thanks for everyone who came and joined for the live stream. Hopefully we do more next week since now we can craft the sciences and all that stuff here on Vis instead of having to travel back to Vulcanus, Fulgora, Gleba. We are now free to remain on Navis. Much like I mentioned last time, our main goals now are going to be fixing, for one, fixing this whole system. This has all been sufficiently bugged due to our throughput, but the update has also allowed us to have a couple of other things done to help us out, so we'll be using that stuff. I don't say this on every stream or on every video, but I think I should. I highly encourage you to check out Void Block on your own. It's quite a fun pack to play. It's quite a fun game. Even if you're just adding Void Block to even if you're just adding Voidcraft to your playthrough, I can highly suggest it. It is extremely fun to enjoy, especially if you like having access to a little bit extra throughput. This is through Void Block, but there is ways to use it on the normal playthrough that is really fun and really interesting. It helps with making Factorio a bit more of a fun game to play and a bit more of an entertaining time to enjoy. Hopefully in the next one we work more towards getting our turbo belts and upgrading our system with Vulcanus tech. I may do a little bit of off-camera work, nothing where I'm building anything, but I may sit here and let it research its way through turbo belts and asteroid reprocessing and level 3 level 3 speed modules. Our next goal, now that we have access to Fulgora tech, is going to be getting the electromagnetic plants, the level 3 quality modules, and start looking towards unlocking epic and legendary quality, but that will take Gleba science. It'll actually take us all the sciences that there are prior to Promethean science to get the tech. We'll also be looking towards these biolabs, or these aren't the biolabs, these are the capture pods, but we will eventually be looking towards biolabs later. But as for now, I have been the Seven Swords. You have all been amazing. Thanks for joining me for the live stream, and thanks for all your continued support with the channel. If you like my content, please hit that subscribe button. I'd love to see you come by more often. If you'd like to see more of my content, and you'd like to see some of my series grow, hit that like button. The likes help my series, help me know which series are doing well and which ones I need to continue making, and helps me decide if I want to let a series go or not. And lastly but not least, please feel free to leave a comment. Any comments you leave encourage me to make more videos and help me to improve the quality. But it's been nice. See you all next time. our first metallurgical science pack. So it's a good thing I stuck around for a few extra seconds, because that's another achievement in the books. See y'all later.